acknowledge the traditional custodians of the ground we stand on and thank them for allowing Papa to tell stories on these glorious lands we share.
The name Fabio comes from the Latin word faber, which means bean, a name common in ancient Rome because of the importance of this legume in Roman cuisine and agriculture. In Italian culture, the name is considered elegant and sophisticated and is associated with masculinity and charm. My guest on this episode of Three Food Memories is true to the origins of his namesake and the epitome of cultura italiana, elegante y sofisticate, maschile e affascinante.
Molto bravo.
Did I do that well?
Very well, very well.
Thank you, Google Translate. Fabio Mancini was born in Germany to an Italian father and an Indian mother. On the way to work, barely getting by as a shop assistant, he was stopped and abruptly asked, "Have you ever thought about being a model?" From that moment, Fabio's life changed. Fabio joins me from Puglia in Italy to share his three food memories as we discover that his beauty is more than skin deep. Fabio, benvenute I tre ricordi di cibo. Welcome to Three Food Memories.
Oh, you are so lovely. Congratulations for your Italian. It's amazing.
Now, Fabio, if we were to meet in person right now, we would be shaking hands, we would kiss each other on the cheek, and then we would hug.
Exactly. Not one, maybe 3, 4, 5,
but
6.
2, 4, 5. There would be no limit. In the absence of this, describe what an abbraccio means to you. A hug.
It's everything. The hug is full of emotions, you know. We are Italian. We are full of emotions. We are humans.
I said earlier that your name comes from the word bean. Do you know the story Jack and the Beanstalk? You know, Jack e la pianta di fagioli? Do you know his story?
Yeah. When I was young, my grandfather, you know, always when I go bed, you know, he always tell me that story.
So it's the story about a poor boy who lived with his mother, who went on journeys up and down a beanstalk and came across great riches. What are you like? Are you Jack or are you the bean?
Actually, it's my story, you know, because I came from like not a very rich family, and when I see my life growing up, you know, step by step, I really understand which kind of these two, you know, personality I want to become. But from now, I can say I want to be the young guy, but with the energy of the bean. So I can be a mix.
You wrote your own version of Jack and the Beanstalk, your book that you released in 2003. In English, it is titled 108 Ways I Forgave Myself, From the Solitude of Appearance to the Fullness of Spirit. Tell me about this book.
Yeah, the book starts in a very difficult moment, you know, in one of the biggest and high, you know, moment of my life, because my career was grateful. I worked for 20 years for Giorgio Armani, for all the biggest designer in the world, you know. But at one point, I just focused to myself, and I was in this beautiful, you know, monuments in Egypt, in Luxor, in there, one of the biggest show in the fashion industry. I was the first model to walk down these monuments, you know. So before the shows start, I was watching down with all these people, you know, a lot of people around there. But I was asking to myself, you're happy? And I was not happy. After 20 years of money, beautiful women, you know, traveling all over the world, I was in that point lonely. So I asked to myself, why you are lonely? So the process starts at that point. So there started, you know, inside me some fighting, you know, some emotion fightings, you know, and I was hugging myself.
What did you do 108 times to yourself that you needed to forgive yourself?
I have to explain all the things, or
where did the number come from? 108 is a very out of the sky random number. It's not small, but it's not big.
So Look at this.
Yes.
So these are Tibetan mala, and if you count, the grains over here, there are 108 grains on this. So the really reason of my title, this book, is like I understand the happiness with this beautiful, journey, with this beautiful travel I did in India. So when I met the Dalai Lama gave me one of these mala, and he started to elaborate, a lot of things inside me, and he teach me to understand where the sufferings come from. So I dedicate, to that journey, the name of the book, with this mala.
I'm curious about your 3 food memories. We're about to get into them. So what came first? Did the food come first, the food, or was it the memory?
Can I tell you the food first and after the memory?
Yeah.
You know why? Because when you go around and you smell, some fragrance, something particular, that smell bring you quickly back in some moment of your life. So in particular, I remember one amazing food is sugo, The sugo, it's like the tomato sauce when my mother, when I was young, was cooking on Sunday. So I remember this beautiful smell, in the morning when I was getting up. And I remember the smell of my mother and say, you know what? Today we cook pasta, spaghetti with ragu. So for Italians, on Sunday, spaghetti or this kind of food is a tradition, So I think food before, before emotions. Yeah.
Well, then let's get into your first food memory, and this is out of the box. It's sushi.
I love sushi. I remember when I was in Australia, in Sydney, the fish markets. I was totally in love for the fish markets, And I always asked to my friend Ian Thorpe, please, Ian, bring me there always. And so they remember me these beautiful moments, when we were there because the fish was so good, and the sushi was amazing. And they remember me these beautiful moments,
But this particular memory, the sushi memory, takes you back to your adolescence. You used to take your brother to sushi, your younger brother to sushi.
Yeah, the story was beautiful because at the age of 17, 18, I lost my mother and my father. I mean, they're not dead, but they separated, and so we not pass a beautiful moment before becoming a model, because I do a lot of works for survive. So I didn't have the money for bring and buy sushi to my brother. So I remember when I do my first show for Armani, all the people were coming to me and say, oh, can I do this interview? I say, no, I want to call my brother. I want to go with him to eat sushi, because we have the possibility, to bring something good, So I remember sushi for this reason at first.
It's eating expensive sushi for you also was a dream that represented your desire to improve your circumstances, to come out of this heavy sadness.
Kind of. Can I tell you kind of? Because we also use money for buying a lot of expensive food, but you can be happy with less food, and with more people around you. We can survive with a little rice and with a little vegetable right now, But my point is like I always want to be back, with my brother, because that moments are forever,
Your brother is younger than you?
Yeah. 3 years younger.
So you really, you took on that big brother role. You became mother and father to him. You also became brother. You were his source of love.
But Saba,
and
security.
Security.
The most important in that moment when you have not a father and a mother, when your parents are in another place, the focus is like I was thinking I was the father and the mother of my brother, but in the same time, it teach me a lot of things. you know, because it teach me how to be responsible. It teach me at the age of 17 how to be a mother and a father, but at the same time to be a brother. So for me was a kind of teacher, my brother.
What is eating sushi like in Italy? Because sushi is not native. It doesn't come from the country.
Yeah, but I think Italy it's the third of the four countries in the world have a lot of Japanese community. So there is a great communication to Japan and Italy.
There's a wonderful synergy with the food, and Italian ingredients and Japanese ingredients come together, much like design as well.
Exactly.
Doesn't it? You bring the two together.
Exactly. We also like there is a word named in Spanish mezcla. The mezcla is like a mix. I think we need to open our eyes. Tradition is beautiful, but we need to open our eyes to the new culture, because new culture can give you more support to your traditions, and that's why I always say thanks to my mother, to my father, but in first to Giorgio Armani, because they gave me the possibility to travel all over the world and discover beautiful lands like Australia. When I was there, was amazing. Japan, and New Zealand, and all these beautiful lands in the world. Because people are amazing everywhere for me.
Let's talk about the two most important people in your life, your brother and your grandfather. Why are they so important to you?
My grandfather is right now everything, because after 25 years of Milan, because I was living in Milan, I decided to be back in my grandfather place, because it's not very well now, and because he's alone. So I prefer to talk with my manager and tell them, like, I want to give to the last year of life of my grandfather the best of his life. Because when you die alone, I think your soul can be suffer forever. So I live for making happiness to the others.
Your father, growing up, he was your superhero. But something happened as he got older, as you got older, and you discovered his vulnerabilities.
Yeah, for me, it's like a superhero, because when I was young, it totally teach me in first how to love women.
What are the three? Give me 3 tips of loving women that you learned from your father.
Allora, first one is respect. The second is cooking, and the third,
you cook for your woman, your lady.
Always.
Always.
And the third, you have to be very good in bed. I think so. I mean, for myself, I think so. If you do these 3 things, top three forever. Yeah.
So he taught you how to love women and respect them.
I love the respect. In Italy, we are very, very respectful in general. We love to respect people, but we love to respect our partner. Because it's kind of, you give me your heart, you give me your soul, and they give mine. So this kind of really love is very important for family. It's very important for a partner. It's very important for a brother, for friendship. The respect.
So you're another significant male mentor in your life. One of my favourites too is Giorgio Armani. What did Mr. Armani do for your life?
I always say to myself, to the journalists, in the interview, it's kind of a second father, because he understands very, very well my situations. Because when I met for the first time,
Explain how you met Mr. Armani.
One of the days there, I was walking the street. I was working this shop in Monte Napoleone. Monte Napoleone is one of the richest, street in Milan, with all these beautiful, shops and brands. And I was working in one of these beautiful shops in there, and I was seeing Mr. Armani with a bunch of people in the other part of the street. So I was walking, and I was watching him, like, doing autograph and picture, and he turned his face, and we switched, our eyes. But I was walking, And a guy stopped my shoulder and he stopped me and say, "Are you a model?" And they say, "No, actually not." Say, "Are you sure?" I say, "No, why?" Because I'm working with one of the biggest, models agency in Milan, and we are working directly with Mr. Armani. So I think you are the perfect male model for him. And they say, "Come on, man, don't bother me. It's I don't want to lose my time because I was going to the shop. I want to pick some food to my brother. So please, no." And he told me, "No, listen, this is my card, and if you go in my office in these days, I will give you quickly a direct casting with Mr. Armani." So I was looking around and say, "Okay, where are the cameras? Hello."
But you had just seen Mr. Armani. You had just seen him around the corner, so this was totally plausible. This could be true. Did you not think you were worthy for this opportunity?
Saba, for me, I think was the destiny because all the people told me like, for the destiny, you have to follow the destiny. But I think every one of us have a destiny. But if I was not in that street, if I was not in that, moments, maybe I was not here to talking with you.
If Mr. Armani did not look
Yeah,
this way,
that's true.
and if he did not catch your gaze,
Was not the first time, I was watching Mr. Armani. I was seeing him for 2-3 times in a row, So I was seeing him for a lot of times in Milan, but I was never stopping, because I see maybe in a long distance, So he never saw me. But the beautiful was like when I called this agency, 2 days later, because I was talking with my brother, and say, "What do you think? What I have to do?" And he was look at me and say, "Fabio, this will change our life. So do it. I mean, do it, because we have a lot of problems, here alone, So maybe try. Who cares? You can go there and maybe you can go back to your shop, So who cares?" So I do that. I quickly, the day later, I was calling this manager. The manager was Massimo. And Massimo told me, "You're the guy, from yesterday." I say, "Yes." "Oh, quickly, come to my office. Quickly, don't lose your time. Quickly, come." So I was in 1 hour going there, and he told me like, "Listen, if you agree, in 30 minutes, I will call the office of Armani and you can go there for a casting." So I say, "Come on, guy. Not possible." "Yeah." Say, "Give me 1 sec." Pick the iPhone, the telephone. He called the manager and say, "Listen, I find the right guy I think you need for the fashion shows, and you need to do like a quick casting, The story starts.
and then
And then boom.
Boom.
Then boom was amazing because when I saw him for the first time in front of me, because the story was beautiful because I was entering this beautiful house, and when I was entering inside there, the officer came to me and said, "Who are you?" I say, "I don't know. I mean, someone who picked me here, to the casting." I say, "Who you have to watch? I mean, if you have to see someone." And he told me like, "If you have not, you have to go home." They said, "No, listen, I have this card, and I have to meet Mr. Armani." He was looking at me and said, "Come on, man. Go fuck yourself around, I say, "Really? I mean, really?" And it was look at me and say, "Are you sure?" I say, "Okay, give me 1 second." So he called the office over there, and the office say, "Yes, Fabio, need to do casting." So you can imagine like me before, was walking in the street, going to the work, earning 800 euro for a month.
a month for you and your brother to pay rent and eat and buy clothes and drink beers.
No beers, but some good, good tea. But the problem was like, what happened to me?
An opportunity.
The moment was beautiful because the officer come to me and say, "Okay, you have to go in this room over there, blah, blah, blah." When I was inside there, was I was sitting in this chair, and nobody one was in this room. It was empty. And at one point, I saw 20 person came in front of me, and in the middle, Mr. Armani. So I say, that's a dream. That's not real. And so at one point, a guy comes to me and he take the jacket, the other one the trousers, and the other one, the shoes. And Mr. Armani was look at me and say, where you come from? Mr. Armani, my mother have origin from India, my father from the south. Okay. You did this job before? I say, no, never. Okay, can you work for me? So I was walking, and I remember this beautiful moment because in Italy it was this beautiful program, when the people go in, and they match each other, and there was this jingle, at the beginning of this show when the guys was para papa, pom 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 pom, So I remember these guys, in the TV, and they do the same. So when he made the jacket, he say, "Okay, can you work for me?" I was working like, and they say, "No, stop, stop. You are not in the TV here. I mean, you are not in the TV show. You are in a real life. You are on the Giorgio Armani cat show, catwalk." So I was there. I say, "Giorgio Armani catwalk. Oh, fuck the people, walking the Giorgio Armani cat show. I mean, I don't know." So, and he repeat me these words: walk like that day in that street. You can imagine.
Be yourself.
Yeah, I mean, you can imagine like
be yourself.
You remember you can imagine and remember that time, and they say 20 person around me, Mr. Manning, the emotions, the cameras around, because there was cameras around, and they say, okay, I have the big opportunity of my life to change my life. So I have only to work, nothing more. Don't move the shoulder. Shut up and move. So I was walking like, and it was,
ooh,
and that was the focus. That was the point. And he told me like, okay, for me it's okay. You can go. So I saw all this 20 person, disappear, and Mr. Money disappear, and I say, what happens? So the officer come to me and say, the casting director comes to me and say, okay, Fabio, if the casting was good, and we'll come back to your manager. You have a manager. Say, managers. Who is my manager? My manager is myself to my brother. I have no manager. We say, okay. We talk to Massimo with all the agency, and we if the casting will be okay, you have a call. So the times, you can imagine the times I was doing like 50 steps, to going house in the office. The 50 steps more difficult of my life. Because in that moment, I didn't understand what happens to me. I didn't understand because I say, you can imagine the day later you were in a shop. The day later you are in Giorgio Armani home. And now you are out of the street in front of the Giorgio Armani house, waiting for his, results. And I was shocked, 3 minutes later, my telephone ring, and Massimo told me like, Fabio, they call me from the money office and you are in the next Giorgio Armani show. I say, oh my God, this is not possible. Say, you sure for that? Yes, you have to quickly come in the agency, to pick all the measurements, because I think a new lives come for you. So that was the start of my Armani.
Mr. Armani gave you this enormous platform to start to change your life. What is it like being in his company?
It's a difficult question. You know why? Because he's the king. And when you are the king of a castle, it's difficult to take your eyes on everything. But his eyes are on everything. He's the first man who come into the office, in the morning, and the last person who coming out from the office. He's 90 years old right now, 90 years old. But you can imagine to have 2,500 people all over the world work for him. There are lots. He's an amazing person. I mean, he's an amazing human being, because he gave me a new life. But in first, he teach me how to respect the other person. He teach me how to be a good person in life, and he teach me how to be a professional model. He always teach me that if you want to become one of the best, you have to be one of the first coming on the job, and the last have to coming out of the job. And the space in the middle will be like you have to be your best there. So you have to thanks every day to the opportunity, to the people who really trust in you and do the best. Your best.
Your second food memory is fruit.
Yes.
Fruit is your memory. Why have you chosen fruit?
I can survive with all fruit. I remember when I was in Sydney, in Australia, the food was so good, because they're tropical, But fruit is like me because it's sweet, you have vitamins, so it can give me a lot of energy, And if you don't take care of fruits, they die.
What do you need to be taken care of?
The most important, thing in my life are emotions. You know why? Because people don't share emotions, and sometimes we have to put mask, to be perfect, but we don't share what you really have in your hearts. So it's like this interview today. I was talking with my manager, and my manager told me like, Fabio, you have to be, like you are, but remember we have to do this conversation in English, So it's not in Italian. I say, listen, I was born in Italy. My language is Italian. English is not my perfect language, but I think I can talk in the Italian way, the word love. So I say, you know what? I don't care. I mean, we came from a different lands, we have different kind of way to talk. So this is the beautiful,
Your life is very different these days to what it once was. To maintain your practice of Buddhism, you're very deep in your meditation. Meditation is a very strong part of your daily life. Describe the place in your village where you go to meditate and clear your thoughts and prepare yourself for the day's challenges.
It was amazing, Dharamsala. And I remember when I started this beautiful journey was 1 year ago. 1 year ago, yeah. And I was decided to go in there because I told you before, I was an empty moment, So with this Tibetan, monk who followed me in these 2 months, this 2 beautiful journey there, they quickly want to bring me on the Himalayan, mountains because he want to teach me how to be lowly.
To be by yourself.
Exactly, because when I traveled from my fashion career to my beautiful career, I also traveled alone. But when I went to Australia, when I went to New York, when I went to Japan, when I went all over the world, managers waited me there, and managers taking me care in these places. When I was in the Himalaya mountains, the monks, they teach me for becoming a better human being. But the monkeys were my teacher. Bears were my teachers. I was in the nature, and I was scared because I was saying, you know what? I was at 3,000, 200 and 500,000, on the mountains alone with nobody one, with the foggy. So you can imagine to transport you right now with someone who tell you, Sava, we take your iPhone, and you have to switch off your iPhone for 2 months.
Oh, thank God. I would say thank you.
That's the point. that's the point. When I was there, the monk who's following me there, he say, Fabio, I want to teach you how to be without a telephone. And you can imagine with 500,000 people following you on socials, how is it difficult. From the changing was totally hard because I was using my iPhone every day, every moment. It's like, okay, pizza moment, boom, self, boom, bathroom, boom, toilets, boom, everything, Alpha was recording, but at that moment I was saying, you know what? Try to teach yourself how to not using the iPhone.
Were you ready, Fabio, for this experience?
I was not ready. No, definitely not. Because I was thinking like, the movie 7 Years in Tibet, with Brad Pitt, was beautiful, And I always see this beautiful guy, one there for discover something particular.
So here, this is where I say something like, who would play Brad Pitt in a movie? It would be Fabio Mancini.
No. A big respect to Brad, who maybe can watch this movie, and our movie, right now, our live, and I have a big respect. So no, but maybe, can I tell to Brad Pitt right now? We can do maybe 7 Years in Tibet, with the second movie, and maybe it would be beautiful to
with Brad Pitt.
Yeah, why not? I mean,
I think I think one or two people would watch this.
Yeah.
I think it may have some popularity.
Yeah, maybe we can call this movie, 108 times. We can go to Tibet. So maybe why not? Maybe not.
I can come. And I don't know what I would do, but I'd do something.
Yeah, you can.
Maybe I could just record.
Okay.
I'll hold
Maybe
the
you can
camera.
cook. Don't worry.
So let's,
for us,
I could cook. That's exactly what I could do. Now let's talk about your third food memory. Your third food memory is spice, and it reminds you of your mother.
So I have to give you two answers. Which one you prefer? The spicy one or the mother one?
I want them both.
Okay. We start from the mother.
Start with the spicy one. We're going to start with
the mother because the
first,
spicy is more exciting, So we start with the mother. Yeah, spicy because I remember my mother when I was young and she was cooking, this beautiful, spice, rice and sugo and all these beautiful things. So in the medicine too, the spice is very important for give you energy, and for give you exciting things too, So for connecting to the other part, I say I have another person in me. I have a really spicy person in me, but the problem, is not to share it to everyone. Because the problem now is to making high, the visibility, the people talks of the private life. And the people talks a lot to spicy private life moments. But I like to do my spicy moments, with the person who I do that. So I'm very totally private.
Yeah. What are some of the spices that you like to use in your cooking?
Curcuma. I love curcuma. I love curry. Maybe the Italian one we call pepe. You know pepe. In Italy we say when you are a sexy person, you have pepe on you. So it's like when you put the pepe, when you put the pepe on the meat, and if you put pepe,
yeah, whew. Yeah,
it's more spicy.
I say the same with some people. If I meet someone and they're dull, I always say, oh, maybe they just need a little bit of salt. They need
exactly
a little bit of
the same.
Sansale. Like I just can't. I just step away and I go, wow, that person just needs a little bit of salt. So you can put pepper on them. I put salt on them, and we have a lovely balance. Now I want to go back to your. To our Jack Fagioli story. Yeah. Jack, he walks away away with the riches from the giant, as do you. Riches and successes and notoriety and everything. But that's where the similarity between you and Jack stop. He lives happily ever after with his mother. However, your mother leaves the family. What left when she left you and your brother?
Was a difficult moment, Salva. You know why? Because I was really angry to her, because I say how a woman after 22 years, of love with my father, can get in love with another person, So I didn't accept that. And I didn't accept that until last year. So you can imagine for 20 years doing a beautiful, beautiful job without your mother and without your father. So the point was understand why my mother do that, And I want to explain one moment on the Himalayan mountains, because one of the first day, Tsangpo, the name of this Tibetan, monk, who comes to me and say, "Come to me. There is a mirror there. Look at the mirror. What do you see in the mirror?" Well, I see me, wow, beautiful guy, amazing. No, I say, look at your eyes. Your eyes are empty. I say, why am I empty? Yeah, because they're empty like the same moment your mother, getting away from that moment. And the question will switch me in the other point of view, was like when the Tibetan monk asked me, your mother take this decision, to get in love to another person, because maybe you didn't love your father. But how old was your mother? 38, 39, with 2 children, and with one husband. You are here alone in a crisis with no children, with no wife, and you are, better than your mother? And that moment is which me inside something. Because I say, you are judging your mother with a big problem. Karma gives back to you in the same moment at the same age.
Interesting.
And so that was the point of the because everything is turning in your life, everything is changing, and everything is coming back in your life. But the point is like when you talk about karma is not like if you do something bad, they comes back to you. Karma is like if you do something bad, why you do something bad? How do you feel in that moment doing something bad? And when you do something beautiful, something good, why you feel good later? That's at the biggest point.
So Buddhism helped you appreciate the reality of your mother's decision.
Exactly. Yeah. They opened my mind. They opened my eyes, but they quickly switched me inside me. You know what? To going back to my mother. Because after this journey, if you read the book, but the books talk about that, the compassion. And compassion is not like when you see a poor guy, in the street and they say, oh my God, he's poor. Oh my God, I want to give the money. No, the compassion is like when you stop watching that person and you ask, why that person arrived at this point and what you can do for this person to get a better moment.
Your social cause is the Fabio Mancini European School Project, an innovative program dedicated to the psychological well-being of adolescents. Why did you set this up?
Yeah, we started in Europe, but it's growing, quickly, and I think we are thinking to expand, in the world too. So we started for the Fabio Mancini School Project. Now it's going to be Fabio Mancini School, European School Project. And after this, conversation will be the Fabio Mancini World School Project, So step by step, we are working on that. But the focus, of this project was that journey, in India, because I was thinking, in which way I want to transform, the power of the number, and I had this possibility to meet the Dalai Lama in India, and the Dalai Lama, the first time I was, invited by him, to explain about this project, he told me these words. He also looked at me and say, "You have the power of the numbers. Share to the world not only what is beauty, the superficial beauty, but what is the inner beauty, what is the inside beauty." Because there is a beautiful, words of Dostoevsky, the philosopher, and they say, beauty will save the world. But which kind of beauty? The beauty of the money, the beauty of the beautiful face, the beauty of the soul, the beautiful of love. What can be saved the world? What kind of beauty? And so the project is starting on this base: values, tradition, families, respect and love. And in first, openness. Please, people, open to the world, to be a better human being and to be, what the other person wants, Just be gentle.
So this project you're taking out of Europe and to the world. You're taking the beauty of love to the world.
Yeah, that's my special, wish for the future. You know why? Because if you spread love, if you're sharing love, what is more beautiful?
We have an MFK Fisher Serve It Forth tradition here at TFM, where our last guest, who was on the show, gives our present guest a dish, and that's you. Tony Tan is one of Australia's most brilliant chefs, and he would like to serve you scallops with creamed corn and curry leaves and a little bit of chili. That's what he'd like to present you as your gift. What would you like to serve our next guest?
So, well, in first, I want to be very elegant, like this, and I want to cook, and I want to cook some very, very good lasagne, but not with tomatoes, but with some spicy, very spicy, sauce of a mix of vegetables. So a veggie lasagna, but with an Indian toast.
So we get both sides of your family.
Exactly.
For the next guest.
Lasagna, the typical Italian, curry from the Indian side, mix, la mescla.
Before we say goodbye, Fabio, the 4 noble truths of Buddhism are: life is suffering, suffering is caused by craving, suffering can end, there is a path to end suffering. At what stage are you in this truth?
The first, I think the first and the last one. You know why? Because every day when I met someone, I'm on the stage of a discovering. And this stage is the beginning of the last stage. Because if you understand why you're suffering, you manage that, and quickly you understand the end of the sufferance, But the problem is like it's a kind of equilibrium. You know what I mean? The most of the people, they are not equilibrate. So I can say the first and the last one, you know why? Because I'm in the middle, always in the middle. So when I met someone who don't accept the person who I am, when I met someone who is different than me, before I was judging that person. I was saying like, that person is a bad person for a reason, But now I say, use compassion for understand for which reason that person is suffering.
Fabio, this is where we now shake hands, we kiss each other on the cheek, we embrace in abbraccio until next time we meet. Fabio Mancini, Grazie mille.
Saba, we say in Italian ciao, but I want to tell you tashi delek is a beautiful word in Tibetans. Tashi delek means my energy today can be yours, and can you share it to another guest for your next episode? Okay?
With pleasure.
Love you.
That's it for this episode of 3 Food Memories. Be sure to spread the plated love and check out our 50 plus back episodes. They're still as delicious as they were when they came out of the wok. For all things TFM, head to the socials at 3 Food Memories and at Savasavas. For more info and to send us a message, head to 3foodmemories.com. 3 Food Memories is produced and edited by Lauren McWhirter with original music by Russell Torrance. Nastica la Philly, and bye for now.
Thank you for listening to Papa's podcast. Don't forget to like and subscribe and tell your friends. Bye.